The Soybean School on RealAgriculture.com is brought to you by Pride Seeds, Cruiser Max Vibrance Beans, High Stick NT, and the Manitoba Pulse and Soybean Growth.
All right, we're talking root rots and early season disease in soybeans with Holly Dirksen, plant pathologist with Manitoba Agriculture. And Holly, we're standing in front of a plot here of very young soybean seedlings. What are some of the things that growers can be looking for below the surface to figure out what their crop is up against?
Right, so some of the issues you may see early in the season, and this really goes across all crops, are those early season seedling blights, seedling disease. In soybeans, we talk about 4 major pathogens: Rhizoctonia, Fusarium, Pythium, and then Phytophthora. Phytophthora root rot's probably pretty familiar for most soybean growers. Now, early in the season, you may even just notice some low emergence overall, or if you are seeing some early seedlings dying off, and if you get a hard rain, they actually might wash away, so you may not actually see the diseased plant initially, but you may see some sick-looking plants, and that could be a seedling disease issue. In a spring like this, where we have had some cooler, wetter weather, there's definitely more reason to worry about this, especially if you planted that seed and it sat in the ground for some time before emerging. Obviously, seed treatments are one of the main ways we manage against these pathogens, but our rule of thumb for seed treatments is 2 to 3 weeks, and you want to make sure your seedling is past that seedling stage within that time frame after planting. So if it sat in that soil for a while before emerging, chances are your seed treatment could have worn off and you could still be at that susceptible stage.
Phytophthora would be the one that we see the most of in Western Canada for soybeans?
Yeah, so especially for root rot. So these same pathogens that can cause these early season diseases can also cause root rot problems later in the year. And often they may be infected early, but you didn't notice it until your plant is possibly under stress later in the year. Phytophthora root rot likes it really wet. It's an oomycete, same with Pythium, and what that means is that it swims in the soil, the spores. So it needs a lot of moisture there in order for infection to occur. Areas that have been growing soybeans for longer, like the Red River Valley or maybe up near Beausejour, growers have definitely had issues with this problem in the past. It is specific to soybeans, so something like rotation can help with Phytophthora root rot, but often guys obviously push that, and if you get a wet year, you can see that disease actually take out full-grown plants. You may not have seen it early, but you'll see a whole plant go down.
So rotation, what are the options for managing against these root rots?
So for Phytophthora, you can just rotate out of soybeans. But unfortunately for the other ones, Fusarium, Rhizoc, Pythium, they are broad spectrum pathogens. They like a wide range of hosts, including cereals and oil seeds. So rotation really isn't an option for those ones. They'll show up under different conditions. Fusarium actually likes it a bit drier, Pythium likes it really wet, Rhizoc kind of likes it in the middle somewhere. The important thing is to get it properly ID'd. So knowing you have a root rot is only part of the problem. You need to figure out which one it is so that you know which management options are available to you. Another thing with management for Phytophthora root rot though is there are resistant varieties. So in our seed guide, it does list which resistant groupings we have with our different soybean varieties. However, that's only half of the question. The other half of the question is, what pathogen races do we have in Manitoba? And at this point, we don't really know that. We know what they have in North Dakota, so we can probably make some inferences, but we don't know for sure what we have here.
With more soybean acres being grown, do you see the prevalence of these root rots, pathogen levels in the soil increasing?
Definitely for Phytophthora root rot. It is endemic in our soil, so chances are there's probably some level of it anywhere in the province, but as soybean acres get more intensive and guys grow more soybeans on those virgin soybean acres, they'll definitely see an increase in that pathogen, so they may get away the first few years of growing soybeans without seeing that issue, but especially if those push those rotations, the inoculum will build up over time.
All right. Well, thanks for your time, Holly.
Thanks.